We have an A&R from Marsden Engineering for Robert and Nancy Ware of 360 Sunny Hill Road and Wayne and Katrina Schweitzer of 370 Sunny Hill Road.
They're not here?
All right.
All I have is, she sent me a, I've had a PDF, but I haven't.
How you doing?
Plans or nothing.
All right, so Matt Allison has just joined us, so that's good. We got 4 out of 5. That's not too bad. So, since the Marsden Engineering and the parties aren't here, we're going to come back to that later. And we're going to get to our 6:35 p.m. public hearing of board warrant articles.
6:35.
Oh, good.
So wait.
So we'll wait a couple minutes for that. All right, let's do minutes. Yes. All right, so we're going to take some motions here. Hopefully folks got the minutes with the exception of the executive minutes. We'll start with the minutes of March 9th, 2015, the regular meeting.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes from March 9th, 2015.
Second. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, now we will go to the public warrant articles minutes for March 9th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the warrant articles hearing of March 9th, 2015.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Make a motion to approve the minutes from March 10th, 2015.
Second.
We don't. Oh, thank you. Yes, March 10th. Awesome.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And make a motion to approve the minutes from March 19th, 2015.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, and now we're going to pass around for your viewing pleasure the executive minutes.
Joanna's not here.
Actually, can I make an adjustment to my vote? On March 10th, I have to abstain. I was actually not at that meeting. Sorry.
It's all right. It's easy to get in a groove.
That's all right.
okay.
Just wanted to update that.
You were sorely missed.
I doubt that.
All right. So chairman being absent can't do that. We can't.
I wasn't at that executive meeting.
You don't have a quorum.
Quorum. Oh, okay. Got it.
So we're at that.
Okay. Awesome. We should talk to Joanna. Maybe see when she's going to be around to.
Yeah, I thought she was going to be here tonight.
Absolutely. No, that's cool.
So we'll follow up with her and make sure.
Okie doke. Very good. Awesome. All right, so let's do 6:35. What time do you got there, Ken? A couple more minutes?
Yep, you're actually close enough.
Close enough? All right. At 6:35, we will open up the public hearing for the board warrant articles. I'm going to read the public hearing, or because I've got a little cold, I'm going to invite Damon to read the public hearing text here.
All right. The Lunenburg Planning Board will hold a public hearing on March 23rd, 2015, 6:35 p.m. Joseph Bellata Meeting Room, Town Hall, 17 Main Street, Lunenburg, Mass. 01462, to amend the protective bylaw of the town of Lunenburg by adding to section 5.2 setbacks and yards a new subsection 5.2.5.1E Village Center District, defining the district dimensional requirements, and amend section 8.4 Development Plan Review subsection 8.4.2.1.A to add after Retail Commercial District and Village Center District. Copies are on file in the planning office. Notice of said hearing will be duly posted in the usual posting places.
Excellent. All right. Adam, would you like to walk us through the changes that we are bringing to town meeting?
Sure, right this way. Both of these changes are in response to the potential of the village district being adopted. The first change is just taking the chart of lot size requirements and setbacks from the village district and inserting it into the dimensional requirements section. And the second is just enveloping development within the village center district into the development plan review. sort of a lot of the things that we've talked about the dimensional requirements ad nauseum. So I think that really it's a cut and paste, and it's just making sure that that's easy for people to find, and adding some consistency. And the second is, a lot of our discussion was the planning board will review these projects and will do this and do that, and this is the vehicle by which you would do that. So I thought that being it was small scale would be most analogous to retail commercial, so went for the smaller thresholds.
Any discussion or questions from the board?
Nope. Again, this is just, hopefully the village district passes, and to go along with that, these will just clarify the language in our bylaws.
Okay. Any discussion or questions from the public? All right. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Adam, for walking us through that and for putting that together. Looks great. I'd entertain a motion to adopt the bylaw modifications that have been prepared here.
I'd make a motion to,
Oh, sorry. My bad. I'm going to first entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'd make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Now I'll entertain a motion to approve the bylaw amendments.
So I'd make a motion to approve the bylaw amendments to section 5.2 and 8.4 as just described.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. All right. Good work. All right. Next on our agenda today, we did minutes approval. So let's go to committee reports. And MRPC Joanna is not with us yet here. Capital planning, same thing. School building committee has not met since our last meeting. Did you see the steel work for the building has been progressing? I think they may have the steel work done for the entire structure. It's pretty impressive. So that's about it on that one. There was some email that went around about extended working hours, but there were several emails. That probably is already history by now. Open Space Ad Hoc Committee, I don't have any news there. Do you have any word from Open Space?
I don't. I have not heard boo from them.
Okay. Everything going good with Lane property, everything?
As far as I know, no
Okay.
one has brought any concerns to me. I know that the Property Acquisition Committee has worked with Conservation back and forth a bit to sort that out.
Great. Okay. Building Reuse Committee.
So we tried to meet last Wednesday, had a hard time getting a quorum, but we believe we plan on meeting April 6th, potentially with the school committee to speak with them about the property lines around the Passios building.
Cool.
So hopefully that happens.
Is those property, is that conversation gonna be based on like existing zoning or assuming the potential adoption of the village district or?
Yeah, this would be a first meeting with them, so I think they finally requested it at their last meeting officially, so not sure what the subject of the conversation is going to be quite yet, but I'll let you know.
Awesome.
I know the conversation I had with the superintendent revolved around, if you do it to current zoning, you're going to be in conformance, and the difference is negligible, so not to be pessimistic, but better to be ready to do it for the more restrictive than the less restrictive. I think the difference is 15 feet on setbacks, so you're not really getting into a space where you're gonna completely blow redevelopment out of the water. So I don't know what their intent is, and I don't know where the reuse committee would come from, but from my conversations, I don't know there's a big difference.
I see, inside offsets.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a great point.
Certainly, the reuse committee is going to make recommendations based on the good of that property and its potential for reuse to make sure it maintains the best value to the town possible.
Yeah.
Excellent. Anything else on building reuse?
Nope, that'll do it for that one.
Ken, MJTC?
Yeah, so we met on March 18th. That was our last meeting. The focus of the meeting was primarily discussing the TIP and the schedule for development and reviewing the project listings for upcoming development. Lunenburg's impact on that is the Summer Street project, of course, and there's a project in the pipeline for Route 13 from Northfield Road to the Townsend line for repaving on Route 13. They're not prioritized, or the Route 13 project is not prioritized yet. They still have to do an analysis on it to determine where it fits in the need list. In addition to discussion about the TIP, they talked about the Unified Planning Work Program. These are projects that they focus on. And I brought up the discussion about traffic study on the intersection of Route 13 in Northfield if a sizable development goes in there. And they actually told me that a full study should be done by the developer of that project, not just covering that intersection, but also the intersection on 2A and 13, because they felt that that intersection that we have near Walmart, which is already has challenges with safety, could be impacted by a number of units going in on Northfield Road that has all that traffic exiting out to Route 13. So they urged that we would have that study done to cover both of those intersections, and also that they could have it reviewed by the RPC if they wanted to, or we could also have the owners of the property set aside funds to have a secondary party review that study for accuracy as well. So that was an interesting piece of information they got. On the contract status, they're working to extend the MRT bus routes from Walmart to the town center and to the old Whalen Park location. I think it's right. I think CVS is the target, but they're working out the plan on exactly where that bus route is going to go. So that was also updated. And as far as Lunenburg is concerned, those were the most interesting points that impact us. Next meeting is April 15th at 7 o'clock.
Thanks a lot, Ken. Any questions for Ken on MJTC?
I would like to inquire if the Chase Solar project, is that pretty much finished? I mean,
Yes.
okay, so that there won't be any impacts on the new pavement on 13 from that. And then,
Yeah, I think that was actually in the potential 2017 or 2018 listing, so it's, yeah, it's not even prioritized yet, so it's someplace in the 2015 or 2018 line, but because it's not prioritized yet, it's probably going to be relatively further down.
Is that going to be a book job, Ken, or are they doing safety improvements and?
I think it's just listed as a standard resurfacing job,
Okay.
and it's in a preliminary design stage.
Ken, I got a question for you about. So I was reading something in the paper about Summer Street, and I believe the town approved funds for to do a design that needed to be done in order to get the funding. Do you know, is that design been is that completed now?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, no, that's cool. Thanks for all. That's good. The other question is, let's say they do the studies on Northfield and 13 there.
Yep.
My understanding from the developer is they're going to put conduit in or something, and then if there's going to be lights, it's going to be the town that puts the lights in, or
Well, it's
State.
the
Oh, it's
state.
state.
So
Okay.
So again, that's something that could go on to TIP as a project that's justified by a traffic study indicating the requirement for the traffic control.
And if I'm not mistaken, the claims that were made was that it didn't meet, he didn't say what warrants. I'm going to guess it was 24-hour warrants to put the traffic light in, which is why they're not being required to pay for the traffic light, that they're just putting the conduit in. Excuse me. And I'll have to look and see what studies they did, because they claim they did traffic studies, and I'm pretty sure their Section 16 findings should have, if the state was concerned about both intersections, should have required them to do it, or in order to get the finding, they should have had to have done it, but I'll that'll all be part of what I submit to you guys.
All right, great, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we cross the Ts and dot the Is on that. Because that's potentially a lot of traffic at, I think they estimate 10 trips per day per house. So it's, that could be a sizable number of vehicles entering that intersection.
All right, thank you very much, Ken. Matt, AgCom.
Yes, unfortunately, the last meeting was coincident with our last meeting with the Historical Commission, and I have not had opportunity to catch up with any of the members yet. Hopefully I will by our next meeting.
All right, yeah, thanks. Well, thanks for coming to that other meeting. That was a good meeting, but sounds good. All right.
I believe our A&R is here.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So yeah, let's. Marsden Engineering, feel free to come to the mic.
I apologize. I was waiting across the street.
Sorry.
Do you want pass them out for you?
Thank you.
Yeah, just go right there, next one.
We can share.
Sit. A lot on the corner of Elm and Sunny Hill. There's an existing house here, which is Bob and Nancy Ware's house. And this house here is their daughter, Katrina Schweitzer. This is, the lot now is an L-shaped lot here. Going to create 2 new lots off of Elm Street and providing a sewer access for the existing home on Sunny Hill on Elm Street. So creating 2 lots. These parcels here, this was a little close and their driveway kind of comes out almost off the lot. So we're giving a slice here to the Schweitzers and then back here to this lot here. So there's a little bit of a swap back and forth there on the Schweitzer lot. This crosses
This one
here
here, yeah.
and that one there. So there are forms signed by both the Schweitzers. Katrina is the executrix of the Ware's will, so she signed both as owner of her lot and as the executrix of the Ware estate. We're going over these with Mike, and I'm sure he's happy with them. There are existing sewer stubs on Elm Street. The betterments have already been paid for all the lots, so those are all there already. This was previously subdivided. I did this plan for the Wares, I think 10 years ago. And at the time, Bob didn't want to pay the additional tax bill, so I recombined the lots. And then he only paid the tax bill on a single lot. Now that the estate is taking care of it, they want the lots back.
What is this structure?
I was just going to ask that.
That's a small, there was an old well that was out in that location there. An old well house. Before we kind of water up the Sun Hill. These wells down there.
All set?
Yeah.
Looks good to me. I mean, I'm not real familiar with, I'm sure it's fine. Just educational moment. In terms of doing this, the sewer access, are there any dimensional requirements around that? No.
I mean, no. Theoretically, she could have granted an easement over her property. I understand why they would create actual access, because then
It's too bad.
if something happens, they're not digging up someone else's property and you don't have to deal with the liability of easement and all that fun, yeah, stuff.
Fun stuff. Cool. All right, so does this,
Each additional lot will be created as 75.
Is it each additional or each affected lot?
Each additional. is
Okay.
75.
so does this just go to the other boards now and then come back for us to sign.
That seems to be the current process.
Okay.
What do we have to do to be able to sign them the first night? Does that change our rules and regulations, or is that something we can just do?
I don't think your rules and regulations say that it has to go to the other boards.
Because one of the, Matt and I attended training over the weekend
Yeah.
down in Worcester, and when they spoke about the A&R process, they told us that the only thing we should be looking at is, the only thing we really need to look at is frontage, and it's not even our job to guarantee it's a buildable lot in the scheme of things.
Yeah,
And that we
your-
should also be putting a stamp on there to say that we're not guaranteeing it's a buildable lot.
Your rules and regulations don't say anything about the process that you do.
Okay.
It's an internal process that was developed somewhere along the line that I'm sure was an attempt to gain consensus.
Mhm.
323, if the planning board determines the plan does not require approval, it shall, without a public hearing and within 21 days of submission, endorse on the plan the words "approval under subdivision control not required." Such endorsement shall not be deemed to constitute any determination of compliance with the requirements of the zoning bylaw.
So in an effort to clean things up, is anyone opposed to signing these the first night we get them?
No, as long as we can get that note that says this does not imply any buildable lot. I can get the verbiage because we have,
I can get the verbiage.
Isn't it on the Mylar itself, down by the signature block, doesn't it say that?
it should be the same and it's not
It
on
says
this.
approval not required this, under the subdivision control law for the Lunenburg Planning Board.
This does not have the language on it.
Other towns have a stamp they put on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna do, is just, we'll purchase a Mylar stamp. But
Yeah, but that impacts you not at all.
Should we sign this tonight, or are we gonna stick with the old process?
I think, yeah,
I work at the board's pleasure. If you wish to sign it tonight, I will defend that decision.
I wish to sign it tonight.
well, here, just before we do that, just to throw, I mean, I don't know, who are the other boards in the circuit? It's Conservation and Board of Health and...
The answer would be yes. I think it goes to sewer, conservation.
I know sewer wanted to. No, they can't change
For what purpose?
something to do with the purchase and sales and sewer.
Sales and sewer?
So I guess, long story short,
It's sewer, conservation, Board of Health,
It's 4, 3,
building
5, 6,
inspector, Board of Appeals,
Assessors.
assessors.
0.
so I totally support the spirit of streamlining the process, and I think that may be what we want to move towards. I think if we're going to do that, though, it would make sense for us to first notify the boards who are accustomed to getting a shot at reviewing these before we sign off on them, even if the result's not
Just let them know
cataclysmic.
the next time.
All right, let them know the next one.
Just let them know we're in the process of buying a new stamp, and when we feel it's kind of open and shut, we're going to start using the stamp or whatever, and see if they're okay with that or whatnot. They might give us feedback that leads us to change our mind as well, but let's see what they have to say about the process change. But it
All
seems
right.
like a good initiative.
Hopefully you're the last one dealing with the old process.
There we go.
Lucky you.
Lucky me.
All right. Anything else about that? Do we need to vote on it now? Or no? Sign it later.
You don't even vote on it when you sign it.
Approval not required.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Steve, for coming and visiting us today.
No problem. I'm glad I'm just part of the new process. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Thanks a lot. All right. So, new business developments, yes indeed. Town meeting, May 2nd. Let's come back to that one in a minute. Town elections on May 16th. I don't think anyone have anything to say about town elections on May 16th?
Hope we get a big turnout.
has anyone filed papers for the 2 open positions on the planning board yet?
Not that I have been informed of.
Okay, well, just a little advertisement for town of Lunenburg here. There's 3 positions open for people running, and 2 of them have no candidates at this point. So if you have any interest at all, or know someone you'd like to, rope into service,
If you've ever wished to be on the planning board, no time like the present.
absolutely.
And you have to have those papers in by Thursday afternoon to the town clerk.
41
How many
signatures.
41 signatures.
Mine was 45.
Oh,
I don't, but
Yeah,
You just did extra.
Get 45, be safe.
I'm an overachiever.
that's right. That's right. Okay.
And I might also add that there are 13 total positions in town that are not being run for,
But the best ones are the planning board.
but the best 2 are for planning.
And just as a side note, all signatures need to be legal, registered voters
Yes.
in the town of Lunenburg.
So it's a good idea to get 50 or 60.
Because, if somebody
Yep.
missed a year or didn't send back their census or something like that, you just want to,
Good stuff. Now, that's probably the best way to go. If you missed the boat on that, then if you really wanted to serve, you'd have to find a way to get nominated by the Board of Selectmen. And
well, I believe it will go out to advertisement.
Yep.
And then they will hold joint meetings with the existing planning board members and the sitting Board of Selectmen, and they will work to cull 2 candidates from the vast hordes who advertise me.
and they would serve until,
They would serve until the next election, if I'm not mistaken.
okay.
I can clarify that at the next meeting if you'd like.
That's my understanding.
Generally, that's how it works. They'll appoint them until the next annual election.
Excellent. So yeah, in all seriousness, I think it's a great experience. It can be a lot of work. I think it can sometimes not be a lot of work, but I think if you're interested in serving the town or just learning how government works and how planning works, it's really I've personally found it very educational and interesting and
Rewarding at times.
and rewarding at times. Very well put. Exactly. All right. So unless there's anything else, we'll go on to the next topic, which is a 1249 Massachusetts Avenue verbal update.
I would like to formally announce that this project is moving forward with construction. They came around to get building permit sign-offs, and we have, as of the 3rd of this month, the 14th of this month, received a final review letter from Whitman and Bingham. There was, the condition of the approval was a final review letter be issued on the set of plans, and we have now received it.
1249 Mass Ave, which
It's
one?
the
was it?
landscaping
Okay,
business.
that's what I thought.
Excellent.
So I would expect that sometime in the next several months, you'll see some significant progress over there.
All right. Well, thanks for the update. That's good news. No report from Whitetail Crossing. No report from 50 Elmwood. No report from Highfield Village, Tri-Town, Emerald. And that is pretty much the status report. It's back to town meeting on May 2nd. So I have a couple items in that regard. Does anyone else have any items for related to town meeting to talk about?
I'll let you lead off, Nathan.
All right. So first of all, I would like to thank the board. I would like to thank the Historical Commission. I'd like to really thank everybody, public, who's been involved in the VCD and the APD project. I think you guys would share those sentiments as well. I mean, there's still got to get it through town meeting and all that. I'm really, I don't know. I've been on the board for a little while, and I think the level of collaboration and communication between the town and the boards, and sort of the constructive atmosphere of working together to pull together some bylaws it's been real good. So these are 2 pretty big bylaws we're bringing to town meeting, and I guess here's what I'm thinking, and it's really just something I want to talk to the board about, and talk to you and Marjorie about as well. So we can. We can go to. We're pretty well prepared to go to town meeting with VCD and APD. we've really gotten a lot of input from other boards and as individuals. And so my thoughts here are, given our relatively light meeting schedule, don't want to abuse that light meeting schedule, but would it make sense to sort of give a final, I'm thinking about Board of Selectmen, FinCom, possibly FinCom, and Building Reuse Committee, possibly Historical Committee. Would we maybe want these boards to also pass some sort of resolution, if they are in favor of these changes, prior to town meeting? So we go into town meeting, it's not a suspenseful thing on the floor. We all come in, we all talk about our firm support for these bylaws, and
Well, I guess what I'll say is both the Selectmen and FinCom will make recommendations on the warrant articles, or they're given the opportunity to make they can vote for, they can vote against, they can defer to the petitioner, they can take no action. And they do this for all the warrant articles. So those two boards are already potential, if they're in favor, they should be making it known at that time. I know often selectmen will defer to petitioners on zoning articles. This one, I think, well, actually both of these, a number of the Board of Selectmen has been at least involved in reviewing. Some have commented, so it may be likely that they'll take some action. If you would like to send that request around, we certainly can do that. Some boards may not be comfortable doing that. But,
absolutely.
It never hurts to ask if that's something that you'd like.
Yeah, so the request, what are you thinking the request would be specifically?
Well, I think you just stated it,
To pass a resolution in favor of it, yeah.
If you're looking for support,
Yes.
I guess you would ask them for, and you kind of, you open yourself up to both sides of it. It can cut both ways.
Yeah.
Because if there's a vocal majority on a board that dislikes something, it could just be three people or two people, depending on the size of the board, who collectively don't like something for whatever reason, and you end up getting a little bit more sway behind their dislike for it based on them being on the board.
Gotcha.
So it can be a powerful tool. It can also potentially put a chink in the armor
Process, yeah.
of going forward. It seems through the process that we've gotten to a point where everybody's mostly okay with the sum of the parts, and everybody's not okay with maybe one small part here and there, but they've accepted that to get everything else, this small dislike is worth it.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good characterization. It's not perfect, but it's a good product for what we're trying to get done.
And with bylaws, you're not going to please, every part of it is not going to please everybody.
Absolutely.
So I think that having everybody on board with the collective it's kind of like when nobody's happy with the solution, you found compromise. You're kind of in that spot.
Yeah. And I think they're, I don't know, I feel like everybody's got a little something they'd like
Sure.
to tweak, but I feel like there is some level of happiness.
Yeah, and
possibly.
I don't want to characterize people
Yeah.
as unhappy, just...
We had a great meeting last Thursday night with the Historic Commission. Stayed there till 10:30 at night to make sure we could get Adam the updates so he could spend his weekend typing this up to get it on the warrant today. So everyone worked really hard on this and worked together.
Absolutely.
And we've had continual feedback from the selectmen over time, so I get a pretty positive feeling out of them. I feel good about this bylaw myself. So I just, at any rate, as far as going along with what you're saying, if people hadn't heard about it over the past 2 years, I still want to make sure that the town people are aware that we got these things going on. I don't want anyone to be surprised. I don't think they will be surprised, but still, I don't know if there's any public awareness stuff you guys can think of that we could do between now and then. I mean, we can't really change anything now.
No, I mean, the full text of both articles, or both bylaws will be in the warrant. Both full texts will be up on the website in the final version by the end of the week. The maps will be on the website. So, I mean, the information is out there. We can continue to talk about it here. The selectmen will talk about it when they do their warrant review. But we can.
Yeah, I'd say let's take a shot at it.
Sure.
And so definitely with selectmen, are you guys okay with doing something like that, or what's your
I have no
thoughts?
problem with it. So, you know,
Requesting support?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, it really has been a collaborative effort. I mean, we've taken a lot of feedback and I think all of that feedback has been incorporated into the document. So I think it's really a product that everybody should support.
That's great. Yeah.
Everybody that was involved in the collaboration anyway. I mean, there could be people that we haven't heard from at all that may still find an issue here or there with it, but, you know, we have had a lot of involvement from a lot of people for quite some time now, you know, going back to before there was snow on the ground, which I don't know if you guys remember back then. But, yeah, and, you know, seeing all of that incorporated into the final version has been really good.
Yeah, I think it's made it better. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
And on that note, do we need to prepare some kind of a slideshow for the town meeting to typically sometimes?
Yeah, it's on my calendar of things to do
Okay.
before May 2nd.
If you need any help with graphic stuff for,
Okay.
I don't know if you even want to get into a quick blurb of some of the historic stuffs about the town center just to show.
Yeah, I mean, if you have photos of the historic buildings,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
have a repository of all the information we've been throwing out there for the past 2 years.
That would be
some of
awesome.
some of the pictures of the concept stuff that you had done would be good to include.
Yeah,
there as well.
that's really awesome. Paints
Okay.
a great picture.
So,
Right.
let me know. I'll help you do
All right.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's, yeah, I guess so. Just, it sounds like we're all in agreement. I think going in with two bylaws that are this complex, I think going in and showing the town that the people who've had to take the time to carefully review this have kind of worked together and come to the same conclusions is really going to speak volumes and help the town, you know, interpret what to do as they, you know.
So we're talking BOS, FinCom.
Okay, so FinCom, I'd just like to say one thing. I think with FinCom, they're going to be asked on town floor to you know, yay or nay or no impact. And I don't know how closely they've been following it. I don't know that we've done anything special. I don't think we've done anything special to bring it to their attention. With FinCom, maybe if we wanted to send a representative to one of their meetings, if they are interested, to give them
Yeah,
an
I mean, I'll
overview.
reach out to them and see if it's something they'd be interested in, and
I was kind of expecting a no impact out of them, but maybe they have an opinion.
Yeah, I don't know if is it a no?
It's definitely worth floating to them, but I just in general, I was expecting
yeah,
a major
yeah.
impact to the finance.
And now, Historical Commission is a
Good point.
co-sponsor
They are co-sponsor the APD
and of the village.
of the village. I don't know. The
Yeah,
building
didn't we
use-
vote on
That
that?
it was submitted, they're a co-sponsor.
It was? Well,
Yes.
great if
We
it...
both made the
Yeah, we
motion,
both made the
Thursday
motion.
night, both boards
Yeah.
made the motion for both
To su-
bylaws.
yeah, to support both bylaws.
to support both bylaws.
Yeah, well, actually, they made the motion to be co-sponsors here the first time you had a joint meeting with them.
Oh, that's beautiful. I mean,
And
that's,
I think that should illustrate support.
okay. Maybe you just, yeah, I think that's awesome if that's the case. If you just want to check in, if they, you know, make sure that's their understanding as well. And if it is, then we're all set with them.
And I did have a conversation with the chair today, and she was questioning whether the board was still going to be willing to pull or pass over or postpone indefinitely the village district should the APD not pass. And I told her that it's probably a conversation the board should have with the Historical Commission itself, and that the 13th would probably be the time to have that. I know we've got kind of a busy night that night, but that might keep that conversation short.
That sounds good to me. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, we can talk about it then.
But, yeah, as I said, you know, you guys can make your decision whenever you want. I think that in the spirit that we've developed the tail end of the village and the APD, it might be worth it to just have the conversation with them here at least.
Yeah, well, I just want to have a backup plan too, because
Sure.
if some reason we're going to hinge everything on the APD and that doesn't pass, are we trying for another APD, or are we going to try to incorporate historic protectives in
Sure.
our bylaw?
Regardless, we wouldn't be able to go
Yeah.
forward with the vote.
Yeah, but still, that's kind of what I want to talk about when we have the conversation with them.
Right.
I thought we had already decided to pull it if the AP did not pass.
We did.
Well, there'd been
We didn't make a
conversations
formal
about it. I
motion.
don't think there's ever been a formal,
Sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
we just talked about it.
All right.
and I don't know that it's,
Input on it as well.
I don't know if it's a really vote thing, but it's, you know, I think if you all vote, then it's just a symbolic, you know, we voted, we did it at an open meeting, it's,
Similar to the kind of thing we're looking for with these other
Correct.
boards. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So let's set that up for the 13th and do it when we're all together. That sounds great. So okay, we talked about FinCom. Oh, Building Reuse Committee. Are you guys? Your committee's obviously worked very closely with us in relation to VCD. Is it something they would want to?
Yeah, I can put it on the agenda for April 6th. I'm sure most of them will support it, because
Awesome.
we have been working back and forth.
All right. Yeah. Sorry for taking all that time, but I think that'll be great. Just a little update. I published a letter as a individual in the Ledger, just kind of.
Yeah, sorry, look good.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So if you guys are okay, I'm planning to follow it up if I have time over the next few weeks with another one that just sort of explains more of the how. The first one was sort of just like what's the goal, and the other piece will be kind of more explaining the bylaw. Probably be a lot less interesting than the first one, but. Okay, so that's it for town meeting. Action file. Anything else on new business development status reports before we go on to action file? Action file. I'm going to skip over the no report ones. Okay, APD bylaws in the action file. I think we've talked about that quite a bit. And that, yeah, real excited about that.
you know, that was wrapped up today, it was submitted, so all of our stuff has made it to the warrant, technically.
Did you
There's-
send the final language out?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I thought that I had. You did have a good catch there on the negative determination, and I just changed it to denial of certificate of alter or
Alright,
something.
cool.
It denies certificate of alter, and, you know, that way it just kind of ties it all back together.
Cool.
I guess I didn't get it, so I got the great catch email, but I didn't get
Okay.
the updated.
I'll forward it to you in the morning.
Is that on the website now?
I don't think it's on the website yet, but it will be before the end of the week.
10:06, I think, right?
No, this would have been afternoon sometime.
Oh, after your comment.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be that'll be up on the website before the end of the week, which is great. Nice job to everybody, and it's Adam, a real nice job putting in all that work this weekend. It looks great. I mean, I'm super psyched about that
Yeah, I'm happy
APD.
with
I mean, we went from everybody really jittering in their boots about, oh, what are we going to be able to pull something together, to something that, I mean, feels pretty tight so far, but folks can judge for themselves by the end of the week. Anything else on APD that folks want to talk about? No? All right. Scenic Road, Flat Hill and Northfield Road. Any updates on that one?
They're submitted. They'll be on the warrant. I think that's just on there, so the board continues to mention that they will be included. I think, the request was made at the last meeting or the meeting before that about obtaining visuals of the road layout and the inclusion of pavement, and it's looking dim as to the ability to acquire that kind of information in a graphic form. I'm going to keep working on it. I'm not sure what we'll be able to provide that would satisfy that, but we'll have something.
Okay. That sounds good. I mean, if absent that, I mean, if we can speak to how it would likely be interpreted, that's probably the next best thing.
Yeah.
Like, any other comments on scenic road bylaws?
Did the Historic Commission co-sponsor that one too, or no?
No.
I just know it was something that we talked about way back when I was on the Historic Commission, so I'm sure they're interested in it as well.
For some reason, I thought that came from a citizen request.
It did during the solar bylaw hearing. I mean, during the Flat Hill Solar hearing.
Is that where that came from?
I think I've been
thought-
asking for it for a while, too.
Yeah.
I thought it had started prior to that.
What started?
The request for Flat Hill.
Scenic road
and
status.
Northfield to be scenic roads.
Oh, that preceded the solar hearing. One of the people who was participating in the solar thing made a nice historical contribution to it, but the genesis of that was with the planning board,
Okay.
like last, I don't know, fall, summer, something like that.
Something like that.
So, but yeah, if you could mention it to the historic commission, if you're speaking with
Sure.
them, if they're interested in co-sponsoring, I think that would be great. And what was the woman's name who was working with the historical commission who did bring forth some really excellent
Maryland Ramstack.
Marilyn Ramstack? I don't know if that might be provided as supplementary material, if we can put it up on our website.
Okay.
That was really helped reinforce, I think, the historical value of those two roads. All right. Master, so just for the public, that's scenic roads on Flat Hill Road and Northfield Road, and it's really just, it basically protects trees and historic stone walls within the right-of-way, which is, narrow strip in front of the properties along the road. All right, no other action file stuff, so we go to notices and communications. There's none. Meeting schedule. April 13th, we have a warrant article hearing, Highfield continuation, followed by a regular meeting. Saturday, April 27th, we have another meeting with no agenda determined as of yet. And Saturday, May 2nd is town meeting. Then we have another meeting, May 11th.
April 27th is a regular Monday meeting.
You said Saturday for some reason.
Did I say Saturday?
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry, guys.
I had a little bit of a pitter patter.
Yeah,
Long
no.
drive on a Saturday.
Yeah, sorry, Adam. Okay, yeah, so it's Monday, April 27th. Saturday, May 2nd's town meeting. We have one meeting scheduled in May, the 25th 's Memorial Day. Any questions on the meeting schedule?
Yeah, just on the Highfield, that's a public hearing, right?
Yep.
Is there going to be any problems with continuity with the election being
Sure.
May? So-
Probably.
Probably. How do we dance around that?
Well, he will probably have to withdraw and resubmit.
Yeah.
Or he has to hope Matthew gets reelected. I know he's got that vacant challenger. And then he has to get a unanimous vote from the 3 sitting members.
Okay.
So is there a problem? Potentially. Can he keep going? Yes. But, he can't have anybody that votes against him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Unless the public hearing were to be open and closed on the 13th.
Yes. Well, or discharged prior to the elections.
By discharge, do you mean?
So maybe it doesn't get open and closed on the 13th. Maybe, on the 13th, there's grand discussion and he has some issues he has to resolve, and he manages to resolve them by,
May 11th.
May 11th. And
Okay.
you vote to approve it on May 11th. And then I've got to track you and Joanna down to sign plans and
Okay.
approval paperwork.
So,
He does bring that stuff in.
gotcha. Is Joanna scheduled, is she planning to attend those meetings?
She did send her schedule to me on when she plans to attend. It might not be in here because this usually only goes back 7 days. And I think it was. Oh, here we go. She plans to be here on May 2nd and May 11th. So town meeting and then on May 11th.
Okay, not April 13th. Okay. So it sounds like the scenario layout's pretty much the way it's going to be then.
Oh, and I had one more question regarding just when we do extensions on things, that they went over the training. they wanted to make sure that when we do an extension, we make sure that we grant it for 2 weeks past when the next meeting's going to be, or so in case it gets approved, that we have time to file it with the town clerk. Because if you just approve the extension to that meeting and then vote
Oh.
on at that meeting,
Yeah.
then you
I
didn't
see.
get it to the clerk in time.
And those 14 days tick off.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another thing that we picked up from that was that when you advertise for something with potential of a weather incident, if you advertise with the rain date of, then you don't have to re-advertise if you have to cancel it.
Yeah, you could do a rain date for the next day or
That's kind of cool.
a snow date for the next day, something like
Or
that.
even the next meeting.
I thought if you have a declared snow emergency and it just continues to the next meeting, if the meeting's canceled due to weather, you were allowed to carry to the next meeting.
Oh, I don't see why you couldn't, but this would allow you to do it the very next
I see
day
what you're
without
saying.
having to
Yeah,
re-advertise.
having a rain day, yeah.
If it were something that important,
Mm-hmm.
if we're up against the time constraint.
All right, good stuff. All right, so any public comment?
Anybody? Not at once.
Any board comment?
I have a few comments, actually. The alternate member, I've been asking that we think about getting two. The training that we attended on Saturday made me realize with 5-member board, you can only have one alternate. With a 7-member board, you can have two. And now with the potential of only having 3 planning board members after the elections, we will not even be able to see a special permit.
Correct.
So, my understanding of what I heard at the training was that the chair of planning can nominate that individual, and it is approved by selectmen. Do you remember, Damon, exactly how that went?
Yeah, it'd be the same process as filling in a vacant seat. We could nominate someone for the selectmen to approve
Yep.
to be an alternate.
And an alternate has all the powers and abilities of a board member aside from the vote.
But we still have to change the town charter,
I was gonna
right?
say, my understanding was that that's how you get the alternate through that process, but I thought that the charter had to allow for the alternate to be
Yeah, you
on the
still have to
board.
do that. We can't just off the cuff appoint an alternate.
Really?
Yeah, it's a charter change.
Okay, bummer. All right, that's that. And
Let's
then,
focus on 2 volunteers before we add another one.
and then also it came to light that the planning board is supposed to have its own, well, it doesn't have to, but it can have its own rules and regulations on how it runs, on the functions of the board. I'm not sure that we have that. We do?
No, you don't.
I'm Bonnie Rackett the other day.
Oh, you are? We do?
Yes, there was some in the office.
Oh,
Yes.
adopted by the board?
I don't know, I would have to pull and look at
Okay.
that. Look into that tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll look at that. I guess you do have your rules and regulations for subdivisions,
Yes.
which sort of dictate how half of your duties operate. And then what many boards have is sort of another set that dictates sort of special permit process, procedures, plan requirements, and that usually bleeds into site plan review or, in Lunenburg's case, development plan review.
Mhm.
And, that's the kind of place where you would put information about when information has to be into the board, what the consequences for not having information in due time for meetings, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Along that vein, I collected extra handouts from the trainings that we got, roles and responsibilities of planning boards and zoning boards, part 1 and 2. There's one for slides, and there's also handouts. Oh, and this is the other one. So what I would like to have done is have those scanned and available to new members, posted on a website,
Be
rather,
more than happy to do that.
not putting out paper copies.
Yeah, no, what I'll do is I'll scan them and I'll send them to everybody.
That would be excellent.
I know that you guys that were there have them, but
Yep.
Yeah.
everybody loves digital.
Yeah, I know this will be your first time with new people in office as you being our planning director, but
Won't
just...
be my first time with new people.
Yeah, I know, but here anyways.
Yes.
I just, was a little curious as what kind of Yeah, what kind of introduction you had for them, what kind of information you were planning on passing to them, because I know when I joined the board, there was very little direction given to me.
I mean, they'll get a copy of the protective bylaw. They'll get a copy of the rules and regulations. I like to sit down and sort of just talk to new members and sort of give them just the quick, this is kind of what we do, this is how we do it. Unfortunately, everything operates a little bit differently here, so I'm still figuring things out. Usually I like to give them a copy of 40A and of 41 so that they can kind of look at them and sort of, these are the things that, this is our governing laws. And, I do show them CPTC stuff, here's the website, read through it, and I'm always happy to answer questions and,
Yeah.
when you get your first packet, if you want to come in, we'll look at it, that kind of stuff. I don't have a script because everybody's different. Some people are like, dude, I got it. And then they come and they kind of fumble their way through it. And some people are really needy and, they want to come and see you once or twice a week and they want to talk about everything and they want to call you, and that's fine too. It's all very personality based.
Great. Glad to hear you got it covered. All right.
All right, I had another, 2 more things, actually. Stormwater, we had that recent joint meeting with the Selectmen and Conservation, and I hadn't seen it on our agenda. I think it's very important. I think it's very important. Their 2015 application is due in April, next month.
Their annual report is due next month.
Okay,
The application is due 6 months after the issuance of, or after the application for the permit comes out.
okay,
So annual report would be something that the DPW has done in the past. I believe they're going with the same contractor who's done it for them the last 11 years. And it's just an accounting of what the town does to be in compliance with the Phase 2 permit. So all of the DPW's activities on catch basin cleaning, sweeping, all that kind of stuff. Excuse me. What this board does, or should probably do in the future, will be when we get into the amendments of the rules and regulations, and I think that that'll probably be the next big thing that we tackle. I don't want to say it's easy, but it's easier than the zoning, the protective bylaw stuff. So I think that reasonably within a 6-month period, we should be able to go through and change the rules and regulations. And that's the point when I think we would speak with the DPW director and other people about what's in here and what sort of jives with what they have and where we should go with it.
Okay.
So if you'd like, I would suggest that we put it on for the 27th rather than the 13th
that would be fine.
to have a good conversation about it. If
That would be great. Thank you. And then the last thing is Pope Road. The water department, the water district is the only parcel that's accessed by Pope Road, and what I understand is that it was discontinued by the town. I haven't confirmed that. I haven't found any records of it. I haven't looked very hard. Also, the reason I bring it up is the second access to the proposed Highfield. I think that it would be extremely important to at least allow for that access. So I guess I'd like to know how we could possibly bring that back into being a town road. Pretty sure that the applicant would be open to that, since they did propose that in the first time.
Well, is it on a parcel owned by the town?
It's one of those things that it's not real clear who owns it.
Yay!
Yeah.
Well, if it's town-owned property and the town creates a road layout through a subdivision process, it becomes a town-owned road by default because they own the property. If it's not town property, if it's private property of some ilk, or even water district property, and the layout is created, town meeting would have to adopt it as a public road, and I would be remiss in recommending that they do so unless it were constructed to subdivision standards.
Right.
And at that point, you then eliminate the ability to control access because it's now a public road, so you can't, it's a public way, you can't put a gate across it, you can't put speed bumps, it's essentially a road. Town then becomes responsible for maintenance, plowing, etc. Now where does Pope Road, or where did Pope Road come out?
Right at Chase at the existing four-leg intersection.
Okay.
By the mobile station?
Yeah.
Oh, by the mobile station.
Is it mobile?
No, okay, yeah, at Chase and 2A?
Yeah.
The sort of YT,
Yes. And Hollis Road.
yep, okay. I mean, I think that you have issues as well with
It's a
DOT.
state layout, yeah.
Yeah, needing to approve the access permit. If the applicant already has a proposed emergency access,
Mm-hmm.
I think that, and if the fire department is okay with that proposed emergency access,
I'm pretty sure that's where it stands currently.
I think that it's probably more reasonable to go that route than to sort of, well, you create a lot of potential liability for the town, and, you know, if it's town property. Now, does the water district how do they access if their land, if Pope Road was the only, do they just kind of have a little dirt driveway? Or do they not go back there because there's nothing but watershed protection?
I don't know. They have the water tower up there.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
So one would assume that they need to get back there.
Exactly. And that water tower, by the way, is what's going to be supplying Highfield,
Mm-hmm,
the proposed.
okay.
Yeah, no, I definitely see there's a lot of hurdles to be overcome there, but the benefit would be lessening the congestion on Northfield, lessening the impacts to the existing residents there, improving the response time, and just improving the traffic flows.
Yeah, I guess from the applicant's standpoint, you're essentially asking them to redesign their whole project. And what impact, and I'm not saying that it necessarily doesn't make it a better project, I'm just trying to think of the impact that they have from that with sewerage and all the other, and, you know, they're back to a new EIR or an amendment to the EIR.
Sure.
And maybe I'm inferring things that I shouldn't, but it would seem that they would have explored that option if they thought it were viable.
Well, we were already told by the applicant that the town told them that they couldn't use it, and DPW told them they couldn't, or no, they said that the town said no, and they also said, planning board said no, and they also said someone else said no.
Okay, and that was Pope Road. Okay, so that comes out about halfway between the two lights?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's over here. This street.
Yeah, and I think somebody said the DOT may have said no to the town.
Yes, that's what it was. You're right. But they just said they hadn't filed a curb cut permit, so that's the avenue to find out whether DOT says yes or no.
Yeah, but oftentimes, my experience, and we're District 3, correct? Nope. With District 3 is, have you passed your town processes yet? No, you can't file. We won't accept a filing until you've gotten through your local process.
Okay.
So it may be a matter of they went and spoke with the district engineer or one of his subordinates and said, this is what we want to do, and they looked at it and said, yeah, we're probably going to say no to that. And they said, okay, well then we're not gonna waste time and effort to design that.
Okay.
But we could certainly look a little bit at it. I don't wanna spend a ton of time, because I have a feeling the applicant will tell us, well, that's nice, but we're not gonna do that.
Sure. No, it was just a question, just curiosity.
Okay, any other board
There's
comments?
the water tower right there.
I notice we finally have a member of the public, I don't know, reconsider public comment before.
Any public comment? All right, are you sure? All right. Any other board comment?
Not for me.
Not for me.
I'm good.
Member issues?
I have no issues.
I have no issues for him.
Not with planning.
All right, well, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Perfect timing, Bob.